plain black coffee. He talks art like he knows it, really knows it. Turns out he owns a couple of galleries and isn't just some suit. So, you make a living just throwing paint around, he teases, eyebrow raised. Beats wearing a tie, I shoot back, smiling despite myself. We talk about everything, art, music, crappy movies. He's easy to talk to, and I find myself opening up about my dream of making it big without selling out. He listens, really listens. You're not like the usual artists I meet, he admits. You're not all airs and graces. You're real, like your paintings. Thanks, I guess, I say, still wary of compliments. Most guys don't look past the surface, you know? They see a girl who likes to paint, not someone trying to make something of herself. Well, I see someone talented. And it's not just about the art. It's about the artist. You've got something, Ava. Don't let anyone tell you different. The afternoon fades into evening, and I realize I've enjoyed myself. He walks me back to the exhibition, and before we part, he hands me his card. Think about what I said, Ava. Maybe we can talk more, set up something for your work. No pressure, just think about it. Yeah, maybe, I take the card, surprised at myself for even considering it. He gives me a small wave and heads back into the crowd, leaving me with a weird feeling in my gut. Like maybe, just maybe, this wasn't just another pointless chat. Life's funny, ain't it? 1 minute you're slinging paint on a canvas in some dingy studio, and the next, you're being whisked off your feet by a guy who actually gets you. That's been my ride with Ethan. A year of surprises, and not the bad kind. We found ourselves at this tiny Italian place he likes, tucked away in a side street where you'd miss it if you blinked. The kind of spot where the owner knows your name and the food tastes like an old family recipe. Ethan's all smiles tonight, more than usual, and I can't help but feel a buzz in the air. He's fidgeting, which ain't like him at all. I'm about to call him out when he clears his throat, all serious like he's about to deliver the evening news. Ava, I've been thinking, he starts, and I brace myself. Thinking can lead anywhere with Ethan. Yeah? About what? I keep it cool, sipping my wine like it's just another Tuesday. About us. About this thing we've got going. He pauses, searching my face for clues. I ain't giving anything away just yet. I lean in, eyebrows up. And? He takes a deep breath, and then he's down on one knee, right there between the antipasto and the cannoli. I almost spit my wine out. Ava, will you marry me? He's holding up this ring, simple but perfect, and for a hot second, I'm speechless. I blink, making sure I'm not 3 glasses deep into a wine dream. Ethan, are you for real right now? As real as it gets. He's grinning, and damn, he looks hopeful. Hell, yes, I laugh, more out of shock than anything. Yeah, Ethan, I'll marry you. The whole restaurant's watching now, clapping, and the owner's bringing over another bottle of wine on the house. Ethan slides the ring on my finger, and it fits like it's always been there. We're laughing and kissing, and for once, I'm not thinking about tomorrow or the next day. Just here, now. He's all lit up, eyes shining. I wasn't sure what you'd say. Really? Come on, when have I ever managed to say no to you? I tease, but I'm riding the high, too. It's just, you're not the typical girl, Ava. You've got this fire, and I never wanted to be the guy to put that out. He's sincere, and it hits me hard, right in the feels. Ethan, you're about the only person who hasn't tried to. I admit, feeling that weird warm fuzz that comes with too much truth and just enough wine. We talk plans, dream big about what comes next. Maybe a small wedding, something low-key, but real nice. We're both grinning like idiots by the time we leave, the cool night air doing nothing to sober the buzz. The wedding was a blast, a real fairy tale kind of day. There I was, in a white dress that made me feel like I was floating on air. Even Jane, my agent and old pal, was all teary-eyed, telling me how she was kindly jealous and throwing around big smiles. It felt like everything was falling right into place. Life with Ethan started out like we were living some kind of dream. We set up house together, and those early days felt full of promise. I was on fire creatively, spending long hours in my studio across town, splashing my thoughts and moods across canvases that just kept piling up. Ethan was all praises then, always saying how amazed he was at what I could create and how hard I worked. But you know how it is, the honeymoon phase doesn't last forever. It wasn't long before I started noticing a shift in Ethan. At first, it was just little signs, like him coming off a bit sharp over dinner, or fussing over small stuff that didn't matter. Then it got more intense, especially about my paintings. "Why don't you just sell some of these, Ava?" he'd start in, his tone more accusing than questioning. "You've got dozens just gathering dust here." "They're for the upcoming exhibition, Ethan," I'd explain, trying to keep my cool. "It's important, you know this. It could really kick things up a notch for my career." But he wouldn't have it. "Look, we could use the money, Ava. And honestly, how many more do you need to keep?" Things got even more complicated when Jane started dropping by more often. I thought she'd have my back, but it turned out she was singing the same tune as Ethan. One afternoon, she came in laughing about something Ethan had said. "He's right, you know. We could practically wallpaper our houses with all the paintings you refuse to sell." Her words, meant as a joke, stung. I let it slide once, twice. But when it became their little running gag, I couldn't hold back any longer. One day, I pulled Jane aside after Ethan had cracked another one of those jokes at my expense, laughing like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. "Jane, we need to talk," I said, my voice low but firm. "I'm not okay with the jokes. And I'm not okay with you teaming up against me about my work." She looked taken aback, her face flushing with embarrassment or maybe guilt. "Ava, I didn't realize it was bothering you that much." "It is. And it stops now, or I'm finding a new agent," I said, not wanting to mince words. "Ava, come on, you know I was just messing around." Jane tried to smooth things over, her usual confidence slipping. "I'm sorry, really. It won't happen again." From then on, things were a bit tense. Ethan kept pushing, and Jane kept her distance, maybe out of guilt, maybe just laying low. I threw myself into my work even harder, partly because it was all I had left that felt right. I wasn't just creating art anymore, I was holding on to the only part of my life that still made sense. Suddenly the smell of paint and thinner, once my allies, had turned into my enemies. Just stepping into my studio made my stomach churn. At first, I chalked it up to stress or maybe a bug I caught, but when the morning started with me hugging the toilet, I knew it was more than just stress or bad takeout. So, I did the one thing that scared me more than a blank canvas. I bought a pregnancy test. Waiting for those lines to appear felt longer than waiting for paint to dry. And there it was, a positive. My heart was racing, a mix of fear and something like joy.